Welcome, good evening. If you have any questions during the presentation tonight, just type them in the chat. We will answer them afterwards. My name is Cheryl Turner. I'm a master coordinator. I've been with Shaklee 17 years, and I've been in the industry since my baby was born. She's 43 years old. And so years ago, I had to go back to work after my first child was born. And by the time I had my third child, 4 years later, I knew I wanted to be the one raising my kids. I wanted to teach them how to walk and talk and the awesomeness of this planet that we're living on. And they don't remember me ever having a real job when they were little. They're amazing kids, our grandkids, it's the same thing. They don't remember me ever having a job. And they're our buddies because Marty and I have time for those grandbabies. And I met my first husband in college. We were youth pastors in Monterey, California, and we came back to Minnesota and started a construction company. And I became single when my kids were still pretty young. I had 3 jobs while they were growing up. My sister and I owned a travel agency, which was a ton of fun, but not a lot of money. We also had a huge overhead, and we had to be there to get paid. Since then, I've learned you don't have to do that. If you can find a duplicatable system, you can start something and keep getting paid. I also worked for a bank. I volunteered with Save the Children. I served as the admin director of the Alliance for Sustainability. And my first MLM 43 years ago wasn't Shaklee. I built a business on shifting sand. Years later, I had to leave that company when I was a single mom with all those jobs. And I joined a company based on the deregulation of utilities. In fact, that's where I met one of our speakers tonight, Terry. And it's also where I met my husband. So he always says it's not just about finance, it's about romance too. And we were lucky that that company went away overnight. And we were flailing, we had nowhere to go. We were both full-time with the business. And then we found Shaklee. And it truly was a port in the storm. And I did a whole video on that at our video site. And we had no idea how Shaklee would affect our health, our family, and their health. We found a home. We found a company with integrity, with people we could trust. And these potent, powerful products that are based on science have made a huge difference for us, for our kids and grandkids. It turns out building healthy bodies and brains also builds healthy finances. And Shaklee science is money in the bank. Nobody comes close to the money Shaklee spent on research and development. There is no way I could have made it through. I had experience with cancer. I was in the hospital 3 weeks, ICU 6 days. And our products are not cures, but they strengthened me for a war I didn't know was coming. And during that time, our business continued. And it helped my husband too. So our focus has always been about team building. We found some great people and we got out of their way. So in essence, we've really come a long way, baby. And with that, I'm going to bring on our first panelist, Terry. Oh, first of all, we're going to play a video. Let's see if I can do this. It wants to download it. Uh-oh. You guys, you know what? I haven't done this when I'm on Zoom. We might have to talk about the video. Come on. Well, I'm just going to go back and...
If you've already watched it, you can just refresh the page and then you'll be able to play it again, probably.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, Aaron, save the day.
True wellness means the freedom to be able to work from home and also to be able to see instant results from my hard work.
I've been able to work my Shaklee business from the road.
Or in the school pickup line, or at my son's baseball practice, all while financially contributing to our family funds.
True wellness means working your business around your priorities, making it fit for your schedule.
A life of choice and freedom that we always dreamed about, but weren't actually sure was possible.
There's no glass ceiling on what I can earn here at Shaklee.
I can be an amazing mom and run a successful business.
Taking my part of $9 billion worth of bonuses that have been paid.
For 19 years in the classroom, I was able to retire early and spend more time at home, focus on my Shaklee business. if I want to, and then be able to take my breath with me. I was able to take my daughter out of public school 3 years ago and bring her home. She is so inspired getting to watch me work from home that she wants to do the same thing when she gets older.
Partnering with a company with the longevity of Shaklee, and that's in an industry that is not going anywhere, gives us peace of mind and gives us a lot of hope as we plan for the future as well.
Shaklee wraps total wellness all into one.
Physical health,
Emotional health,
environmental health,
financial health, all in harmony.
all in harmony.
All in harmony. All in harmony.
You gotta love that. Let's get out of this. And it's made a huge difference, I know, for a lot of people on the call tonight. But our first guest, let's see if I can bring him over here, Terry. And then I have to do speaker view. I really need Marty here. He is my AV guy. Okay. Here we go. Well, we got Aaron. I don't know why, Aaron, it's got you on focus here.
If you click the 3 little dots on the top of the corner of my photo, you can push unpin and then go back to Terry and click pin.
We're getting a lesson on running Zooms. You'd think with the money I make and the volume I do, my group does $1 million a month. They run 500,000 points a month, and I still don't know how to run this. So, okay, pin, it just says pin. So I'm just gonna go up to Terry and pin Terry. There we go. How's that, Terry? And I still don't see him as big though. Shouldn't it show him huge?
Maybe if I start talking, it'll do it. But
It's probably something I'm supposed to do down here.
I can look small and talk big.
Okay, we'll leave it like this. Everybody can watch you. So Terry, you came here the same time I did. We went through a lot of the same challenges. We had people that did things we didn't trust. And what were your biggest fears before you jumped into this business?
Actually, because I came from a failed MLM, one of the first things I was really suspicious about was this really a big deal. You know, I knew, kind of heard who Shaklee was, but I really didn't have any, like, we were in telecom and we were proud that we didn't have a product. And that was, you know, what I was used to. And then to come over to a company that is product driven and different than really anyone else, because they made their products really upfront being the best. And I guess I eased into it because I got into Shaklee to feel better and to make a little bit of money, but mostly I was in it to be able to feel better.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I'm retired though, I'm starting to really build the business. And I go back into, you know, what are the biggest fears if I was a new person? Plus, what fears do I have? One is, can you really do this? You know, I know other people have done it. Some good friends have made more money than I ever thought was available in any business, let alone in network marketing. But yeah, and that was the first hurdle was, you know, can I do this? You know, I'm a big Zig Ziglar fan, and he once talked about his cook was building biscuits and they were only about 1/4 of an inch tall. And he said, well, what happened? And she said, well, they squatted to rise and got cooked in the squat. And I think a lot of people do that. They overanalyze it, they plan it, they do this. And really, I hate to give Nike credit, but just do it.
All right.
You know, it doesn't have to be perfect. What really has to be there is your voice. Why are you happy? Now, you can be a little scared, but why do you believe it's the best thing that anyone is ever going to do? And if you get over that, I think that's the big one is, you know, do I have a story to tell? Can I help other people? And yeah, tell your story, make it real, be honest, and people will come to you.
I love that. Keep it simple.
Yep.
That makes a huge, huge difference. And Alawana, now, when you came to Shaklee, have you ever had anybody ask you, I just don't have time to run a business? We need to have you unmute, Alawana.
Yes, I've heard that. I was working a corporate job 50+ hours a week when I started doing it. And the first couple of times I was shared the business, I said, I don't have time for it. It's not going to be for me. But then when I've had people say that to me in my distributors that I have recruited, I said, I understand what you're saying. I have felt that way. However, this is a business that just grows when you do share it with people, even on your lunch hour, even 1 hour a week. It's a matter of you setting aside the time. Do you set aside the time to go to the gym? Do you set aside the time to read a book? Do you set aside time to do certain things? As with anything that you might really want to have happen, you've got to set aside a block of time. And if it's only an hour, I imagine a mother with 4 children, she can do it. She can make it happen, but you've got to set aside a block of time. And it doesn't have to be a lot at first, but it needs to be consistent. And then you'll be really surprised at what you have started to grow.
Wow, I love that. And I'm like you, when I started, I had a full-time job. So I did my business and we didn't have everything on our cell phone like we do today. It'd be pretty easy to run it with a full-time job today, but I would do it on my lunch hour and after work. And I'm so glad I made the time. Like you said, I scheduled time. That's what we had to do. And Chelsea, have you ever had anybody tell you they didn't have enough money to get started? And we need to have you unmute.
Yep. So I think this is a great question. And I've kind of heard this question phrased other ways of like, I can't afford to start a business. And I heard leader Jeannie Tuvel say, you can't afford not to. And that's really stuck with me because my husband and I were having just business conversations today. And so we were really curious about like other businesses, like if you were to start a franchise, like what is the startup cost to start a franchise? And oh my goodness, we were blown away because not only do you have to pay for the name and the rights and all of that, but then you also have to have a huge net worth of your own. Plus you have to have like hundreds of thousands of liquid assets because you have to get loans to then like build the buildings and all this. And it's just crazy amounts of investments. And so then I looked at Shaklee, you know, like what is the maximum amount of money like that you could potentially put into this business? I mean, right now it's 50% off. We know that, right? So you could start for $25 plus product.
And you get paid double.
Right. And you get paid double. So, but if you were to get like one of the biggest business boosters that we have that gives you a sampling of all the products, we're still talking like 1,200 or less, like compared to 30,000, that's a big difference. And so I think just thinking about it for myself, I mean, I spend more money on fleeting things that give me joy for a moment. What?
We've got somebody here. I'll mute her.
Oh,
okay. We're okay.
Sorry. I'm used to having kids, so like lots of interruptions, you know, so it's totally fine. So I was just thinking about, you know, like I spend money all the time on stuff that just gives me joy, like fleeting for a moment, you know, like going out to eat or something. But like this business costs less to start, and it's something that you can build that can last a lifetime. And really, it's about building something that gives you choices for life. So when people tell me that I don't have the money to do this, I always encourage them that, you know, if this is something that you really want, we can figure it out. Like I've had people tell me before, get resourceful, you know, sell a few things around your house that you don't need, you know, or bring a few friends along with you to do like the Prove It challenge, or, you know, to use the skincare. And I mean, there are so many ways that you can get your business paid for right out of the gate. And if you stick with this consistently, you will make that back in no time. My husband is a numbers guy, and he figured out that I've been doing the business now for over 7 years, and I've given myself a $30 raise every single month consistently since I started, which doesn't sound like a lot when you, until you think about like, oh, well, hourly jobs, I don't get a $30 raise every month.
Right.
You know, oh, okay. So he's talking in the background now. So then he was able to take that information and project it out to like, you know, however many years going forward, how much I could potentially make, and
Run rate.
You know, and it gets bigger faster the longer you do it, because now you're getting paid for leadership. And it's just, so again, you can't afford not to do this business because it gives you so many options and choices in your life. It's amazing.
I love it. I know one thing for my husband and I, they didn't have all these wonderful programs that they do now. And we started our business for $20 and we bought what we wanted. And it was something that I called my friends. I said, you don't have to do the business, but you've got to try the products. I mean, I'm 70 years old and my friends are all my age. I said, they've got skincare that'll take 10 years off our face. Hello. But what I didn't realize was that they had such powerful nutrition that it could take 10 years off our brain too. And the fact that my grandchildren call me Ninja Nana because I still have amazing reflexes. So yeah, it's and the potential truly is unlimited. And that, among many other things, makes us different. Monica, I want to bring you on next. And what do you say when people ask us, what is different about Shaklee from other network marketing businesses?
Well, I have 3 key points that rise to the top of my list as far as what differentiates Shaklee from other people or other companies. And it would be longevity, integrity, and vision. And we've been at this longer than anybody else since 1956. But the cool thing is that we've never veered from our core mission to make the world a healthier and better place.
Right.
And that longevity brings a stability that you don't find in other companies. Quite a few people have talked about other companies they were involved with that are no longer around. And there's so many multi-generational businesses in Shaklee because we've been around that long, where people pass it down to the next generation. And I think that concept of generational wealth is just amazing. The second one is integrity. And I know that word has already come up at least once in our presentation tonight. And my background was a corporate background. And so I brought this semi-competitive spirit into Shaklee when I first started. And what amazed me was when I started reading about Dr. Shaklee and his philosophy, and I started hanging out with other Shaklee people and meeting the people that were involved, the value that really rose up to the top was this one of integrity. I think it permeates everything about the company, not just the products. And I learned that Dr. Shaklee's primary philosophy was the golden rule. So we want to treat people the way we want to be treated. And that's what I've experienced for sure for the last 20 years by being part of this community.
Wow.
It's really a collaborative and cooperative community and not a competitive environment at all. And my last point is vision. And the vision started with Dr. Shaklee. He was a scientist, an inventor, a philosopher. And it's kind of interesting because so many of the self-help gurus out there today will talk about how the thoughts you put into your head are the reality you're going to live out in your life. But Dr. Shaklee was writing about this stuff 50 years ago. You can actually still read his book. And so this is our foundation. There is no other company that has that kind of history and foundation. And then this vision that he had of living in harmony with nature and helping people create income was passed down to our current CEO.
There's no other company that has this kind of foundation. Not in your little.
Whoa, sorry, I don't know what that was. So it was passed down to our current CEO, Roger Barnett. And Roger Barnett is the reason I gave up my career 15 years ago. He's absolutely the most visionary, charismatic leader I've ever met. He's the epitome of the servant leader. And he has a big vision for Shaklee to really bring this wellness to the world. And so tonight is really about us inviting you to come in to be a part of this vision. And it's about so much more than just running a business. It's about being a part of a movement, and it's about you becoming a better you. And those are my top 3 points as to why this community and this company are different than what you're going to find out there in other places.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. And I know, like for Marty and I, the reason that we came to Shaklee was because of Roger Barnett. In fact, the company we were with had gone away overnight, and we were looking, we had a lot of offers because Marty and I had done a lot of corporate training for the company we were with previously. And even though we met in that company, I was a single mom when I joined that company, but I was one of the few women that would come to the meetings who didn't expect the guys to do my business for me, do my meetings for me. I would always do my own. And Marty loved it, that I was you know, and I didn't get that way because I was a great leader or a social butterfly or anything like that. In fact, I hate sales. And a lot of people tell us I'm just not a salesperson. I'm like, oh, thank God, you know, because it's not about being a salesperson. For us, it's about sharing the most powerful, potent nutrition I've ever seen, I know, in my life. And I've like I said, I've been in this industry since my baby was born. She's 43 years old. And I have never seen another company like Shaklee where there are 5th generations getting paid on what great grandma and grandpa started. Or is it great? I don't know. But Shaklee is the only company out there that has that kind of integrity, that kind of history. And it has made a huge difference for us. When Marty got a call, because we had some success in a previous company, they asked if he wanted to come and meet Roger Barnett. And I said, well, sure, but let me call him and just make sure. So I called Marty and I'm like, the guy that bought Shaklee's assistant is on the phone. She wants to know if you want to come to visit this weekend and see Shaklee. And Marty said, I'm not interested. Because like Terry, you know, we were burnt out. We had been betrayed by people we trusted. And so I had to go back on the line and I said, I'm sorry, Marty has a conflict. And I didn't tell her it was between his ears. And she said, well, would you like to go? And I'm like, I owned a travel agency. I proved a long time that I'd work for nothing if I could travel. And I said, sure. And they sent the tickets and they were in Marty's name. And so then I called Jim Sharon, because he was taking care of the tickets at that time. I said, hey, I see these are coach tickets. I know you can change them. They're supposed to be in my name. He said, no problem. I'll change them right now. And I said, wait a minute. I think my husband's supposed to go. Let me give him a call. And you guys, I don't think I've ever wanted to go on a trip so bad as that one. Well, except for maybe the Australia one that we did just qualify for, but then we couldn't go because of COVID. Now we're going to the, what is it? Oh, the Waldorf's Grand Wailea on Maui in March because we qualified for that Top Achievers. But I called Marty. I said, the tickets came and they're in your name. And I know this is a little deceptive, but it was important. I said, and you know how the airlines are. And Marty said, oh my God, okay, I'll go. The next day, Marty was on a plane. He flew to San Francisco. He met Roger Barnett, started a bromance because he had never met anybody who had that much integrity and heart and vision who had bought a company like Shaklee. Usually those guys with that kind of vision that are 20 years ahead of the general public, they're in another industry. But Roger wanted to do something substantial, something that would give his family a legacy. And he knew that Shaklee was a legacy company and that he could do what he's doing. I was on a call with him today, and it's so funny. Marty and I were in the car and we had a master's call, and Roger's so excited. I mean, it's hard to describe him on these master calls because he sees what's coming. He knows what, number one, what he's doing for us, the things he's put in place, the social assets that he has put in place are like nothing we've ever seen in the industry. So people don't have to be a salesperson. They have to be able to share a link. And that's something that, you know, most of us can do if we can learn to copy and paste or forward it from our member center. And the Meology, our algorithm that Roger paid to have developed so we can use it and share information with people, just blows my mind. So with that, we're going to bring on Teresa. And Teresa, we want to find out where you were before you started your business and the blessings from your business and how were you introduced to Shaklee?
Well, God bless everyone. And this is so exciting because this is our 9th wellness business pop-up. And I'm looking around and I can't see everyone, but Cheryl, I mean, when I saw you on, I'm saying, oh, I've been knowing Cheryl so long. And then I look around and I see Pam on here and the other people, like when Monica was talking about longevity, we did the wellness business pop-up on longevity. And Dean and Priscilla Smith, who were the first ones, I went to my first Shaklee meeting, you know, with them, and they started me in Shaklee. Barb Lagoni, she did my first meeting on the south side of Chicago.
And what were you doing when you started Shaklee?
Yeah, okay, so I'm getting ready to go to that. I am going to that. Thank you so much. I thank you for keeping me on track because I do have a tendency to get pulled off because I might talk too long, but I am just excited. After 49 years of being in Shaklee, I am excited. And the thing, as we address people today, why wouldn't people want to join us? I was on the floor of my mother's living room, and I was wondering why my mom was kicking me off the floor while she was exercising with Jack LaLanne. And then my father, he had a whole pile of vitamins in there from the mail order house. And I'm looking around and I'm saying like, oh, am I supposed to be doing this? So my mom and dad, you know, they are the ones. This is how I started. Okay, before I got into the actual business. And the blessings from Shaklee, I could talk about what I just got for quarterly one, where we had the reward. I'm wearing the jacket, the Northfleet jacket that we all got from having, you know, just helping people. I have the state-of-the-art video from Q3. I'm saying, you know, why wouldn't you join us? And that's what we're doing. We're addressing the people who we want to join us tonight. And those blessings come. I mean, they come every day. But the name of my company is God's Gift Shaklee Wellness Center. It's been a gift to me. So I was there on the floor. My mom and dad followed, gave me the impetus to do this. And I have been getting blessings all of these years for 49 years because of the fact that I have been able to be among people like I am tonight. Some of the people I just met tonight, so I mean, the Shaklee family is extensive and we just go beyond. And I was introduced to Shaklee from my mom and dad. My mom and dad, when Shaklee was at the Central Region in Chicago, we used to have the meetings at the Field Service Center. And Ruth Kutz and all of the different, Barbara Lagoni, all of us was on the south side of Chicago doing Shaklee meetings. So my mom and dad was my biggest advocate.
That's great. And I know Marty and I did a couple of meetings for you in the basement of the church there. So thank you for sharing.
Right on.
And I'm going to go on to, sorry, Teresa, you're muted now. Okay. You can unmute, Teresa, if you want to add that. Okay.
Okay.
What was your last sentence?
Yeah, I just want, my last point, as my excitement dies down. Yes, I just want to thank all of you all for being a part of Shaklee. I want to thank you, Cheryl, for leading us and being the master that you are and leading us into what we'll be doing for the next 29 days. And that's being together, being able to be with each other and be able to get more rewards, because as we ask people to join us tonight, we want them to have the same gifts that we have had and will continue to have.
Okay. Thank you. And now I'd like to move on to the guy that I had to ask for help in the beginning of the Zoom. Aaron, I know you know a lot more about this than I do, but I know we don't have to be experts. I'm proof of that. So do people ever ask you, Aaron, do we have to be social experts? And do we constantly have to be online?
Yeah, hey, I definitely get that asked quite often. And I think it's kind of a catch-22 because we can do the whole business from social media, from online. And so people imagine that if their entire business is online, then that means they're also always going to have to be there. But I think the benefit, I mean, when I started my business, I left corporate, like a corporate 9 to 5. I had 2 phones on me at most times and felt like an idiot. So, I didn't want to have anything to do with having to constantly be holding onto a phone and going through social and that kind of thing. I would say I spend probably an hour to an hour and a half a day doing what I actually need to do on social media, but that's max. I mean, maybe a third of that is kind of like also a little bit of wasted time, right? So, I mean, you don't have to live on social media, especially with the tools. A lot of people mentioned this before, but like we have apps, we have social sharing, we have content already created, calendars, like everything is already there, plus the training that, Shaklee is giving us. So, it's really simple. You have the tools, and then you also have your team to give you a strategy so that it's not, you're not spinning your wheels trying to figure it out on your own. You have a team that's going to help you figure this out so you can be effective and not spend hours and hours a day. So
that's right. So we have people like you we can ask when we get stuck.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
Thank you for helping us tonight. We appreciate you.
Of course.
And Colton, I had a question for you too. Did you have any challenge with friends and family? What they're going to think about? And where'd you go, Colton? Oh, there he is.
I'm right here. I'm right here.
I want to pin you. Here we go. You did. Okay.
Yeah, I did. I think starting out, I was nervous. I mean, I was nervous about what my friends would say. I was doing something that was very uncomfortable, right? And I think, talking to my mentor, Pam Carey. Hi, Pam. One thing that she always tells me is, some will, some won't. So what? Someone's waiting, right?
Mhm.
Someone's waiting for you to share Shaklee, right? And just spread the word. And I think that kind of alludes to, the vision of what Roger has. And we all want to, share Shaklee because it's something that we firmly believe. I told Pam, getting in this business, I wanted to try the products. And if I felt better, which I did, I was going to do it. And I really am a firm believer about what I put in my body. I'm big into health and wellness, and this was a no-brainer for me. I think too, to add to that is vision, right? We have our own vision as humans, right? My mom doesn't have my vision. Pam doesn't have my vision. Cheryl doesn't have my vision. We have our own vision, right? So we get to dictate what we want to do in life. And I'm not a betting man, but if I'm going to bet on myself 10 times out of 10, no matter what. So, I think that's very important to know. And people who are like me, scared to step out of your comfort zone, just realize what your vision is, realize you want to help people reach their full potential of being healthy, right? And I think that's really important. And that's what helped me, make this decision by going with Shaklee.
Because you knew it was a quality company and that you were never going to be embarrassed with integrity issues, with the people, the products, none of it. And then when you have somebody like Roger Barnett, at the helm, we have so much to be grateful for, because there's some pretty strange people leading other networking companies, but again, we've got the Dr. Shaklee Foundation of Integrity. So thank you so much for sharing tonight. And thank you all of you who shared. Did we have any questions? Can we find that? Let's see, Aaron told me how. He said, go down, click on chat. There we go. We don't have any questions in there. Does anybody have any questions right now that you want to ask, that you want to unmute? And
Yes.
for any one of the speakers?
Yes, Teresa Smith. I didn't have a question, but I do have a guest on. And we have people that are very loyal to Shaklee. And we have a loyalty program that started a little while ago. And the young lady, Winnie Jean Pointer, who's on, she has never missed a loyalty order since loyalty started. So
That's
I just
awesome.
wanted to recognize her because she is so consistent. And today she got her 180 turnaround kit for free.
Nice for free. I'm so glad you said that. That's awesome. Congratulations, Winnie Jean. Good job. I'm going to bring some slides over here and see if I can do this, and maybe I have to take you guys and put you on my other screen. Again, this is not something I normally do. There's a lot of good things going on now. There's some really cool things that are going to happen this month that I can't tell you about yet, but you'll find out very soon. One of the things is, as I don't know if it was Alawana or was it Chelsea mentioned, that you can start for half price on the business. I mean, you can get a free membership anytime. If you have a $150 order, you've got a family you're ordering things for, you want our kids program. We have a wonderful algorithm for children that gives them great chewies. Marty found mine. Oh no, these are my life strips. He found my the new chewable omegas. When they first came out, they said they were for kids, but I got some because I need them. They're good for your brain and your heart, and I wanted to try them. I'm not going to feed them to my grandkids unless I find out what they're like. So we've got programs for children, for adults, for seniors. I just sent off a couple of packages for people who are fighting cancer, and it's, again, not a cure, but I want them to be as strong as they possibly can. And so when people start with the $150 order, they get a free membership. But to get the business building where you get all the benefits, the tax write-offs, even if you're traveling to see family, if they're potential partners or they are partners, that's a business trip. And so there's a lot you can do to help people, a lot of benefits, a lot of health benefits. But right now, till the end of the year, you can become a new distributor for half price, and you can earn double commissions through the end of the year. So again, And like Colton talked about and Aaron about the purpose, we're really on a mission here. This is so much more than a business. It's really a mission, and it is going to pay you really well. And it's something that my husband and I hadn't counted on it growing like it has exponentially. And because we've never been in a business with products this potent or this proven. Shaklee has over 120 published clinical studies. And they're not the kinds you pay to get into, they're the kinds you pray to get into. So we have things that nobody else can offer. And there's also some other benefits that I think a lot of people don't realize. If you come in, whether you come in for the free membership or the $50 distributorship that's half price right now, veterans can get that distributor kit for free anytime. And so what I do with my vet friends is have them get the free membership, and then they call Shaklee, they call 800 Shaklee, and they'll tell them what they need to send in, because there's certain documents they need to send in, and they will upgrade them for free because of their service to our country. So, and I don't know if it was Alawana or who was it that mentioned that they paid $9 billion in commissions in 65 years. Shaklee has paid over 2,000 people over $1 million. And if Marty and I can be one of them, anybody can. And we had several people in our group that made it to the $1 million level before we did. And we were thrilled for them. And people that we love and care about, whose families are healthier. And they've been able to impact thousands of lives because of what Dr. Shaklee started over 100 years ago. In 1915, he created the first vitamin. To give you some perspective, Alexander Graham Bell was making the first transcontinental phone call the same year. And Dr. Shaklee was working on nutrition. He said, the medical field is interested in treating disease. I'm interested in building health. And with that, we're going to wrap this up, but we're going to stick around and hold on a second.